Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating International Asteroid Day. Why Asteroid Day? In December 2016, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 71/90 declaring 30 June International Asteroid Day in order to observe each year at the international level the anniversary of the Tunguska impact over Siberia, Russian Federation on 30th June 1908, and to raise public awareness about the asteroid impact hazard. So International Asteroid Day aims to raise public awareness about the asteroid impact hazard and to inform the public about the crisis communication actions to be taken at the global level in case of credible near-Earth object threat. So the General Assembly decision was made based on the proposal by the Association of Space Explorers, which was endorsed by Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space. Near-Earth objects represent potentially catastrophic threats to our planet. In short, known as NEO, is an asteroid or a comet which passes close to the Earth's orbit. According to the NASA Center for NEO Studies, there are over 16,000 near-Earth asteroids discovered. The Tunguska asteroid event in Siberia, Russian Federation on 30th June 1908 was the Earth's largest asteroid impact in recorded history. On 15th February 2013, a large fireball, technically called a super Goldie, traveled at a velocity of 18.6 kilometers per second, entered the atmosphere and disintegrated into the skies over Chelyabinsk. According to the NASA, the approximate effective diameter of the asteroid was estimated at 18 meters and its mass at 11,000 tons. The approximate total impact energy of the Chelyabinsk fireball in kilotons of TNT explosives, the energy parameter usually quoted for a fireball was 440 kilotons. The Chelyabinsk event was an extraordinary large fireball, the most energetic impact event recognized since 1908, Tunguska blast in Russia, Siberia. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, in short known as UNOSA, has worked on NEOs for many years, recognizing a NEO impact hazard as a global issue demanding an international response. Addressing such a hazard, including the identification of those objects that pose a threat of impact and planning a corresponding mitigation campaign, requires cooperative action in the interest of public safety on the part of the global community. Building on recommendations for an international response to a near-Earth object impact threat endorsed by Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space in 2013, the International Asteroid Warning Network and the Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, SPMAG, were established in 2014. The International Asteroid Warning Network uses well-defined communication plans and protocols to assist governments in the analysis of possible consequences of an asteroid impact and to support the planning of mitigation responses. The Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, in short known as SMPAG, is an interspace agency forum that identifies technologies used for near-Earth object deflection and aims to build consensus on recommendations for planetary defense measures. The United Nations Office for the Outer Space Affairs works to promote international cooperation in the peaceful use and exploration of the space and in the utilization of space science and technology for a sustainable economic and social development. The office assists any United Nations member states to establish legal and regulatory frameworks to govern space activities and strengthen the capacity of developing countries to use space science technology and applications for development by helping to integrate space capabilities into national development programs. The United Nations Office for the Outer Space Affairs, UNOSA, in cooperation with China Manned Space Agency, launched the program which capitalizes on the technological and innovative skills of the government of China to benefit member states of the United Nations, in particular, developing countries, thereby contributing to 17 Sustainable Development Goals through increasing access to space. So recently, the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space meeting scheduled for 2023. So Scientific and Technical Subcommittee 60th session was held on 6th to 17th February 2023. And Legal Subcommittee 62nd session was held on 20th till 31st March 2023. And Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space 66th session was held from 31st May to 9 June 2023. So these were the recent meetings. So the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs works to promote international cooperation in the peaceful use and exploration of the space and in the utilization of space and technology for sustainable economic and social development. The office assists any United Nations member states to establish legal and regulatory frameworks to govern space activities and strengthen the capacity of developing countries to use space science technology and applications for the development by helping to integrate space capabilities into national development programs. So the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs works to help all countries, especially developing countries, access and leverage the benefits of space to accelerate sustainable development. And they work towards this goal through a variety of activities that cover all aspects related to space, from space law to space applications. So they help countries build their capacity to develop and make the most out of the space sector through a twofold approach. On one side, they provide resources such as training, workshops, conferences, and knowledge sharing portals. On the other side, they complement these with concrete opportunities for countries to expand their space capabilities, such as fellowships and competitive programs, some of which targeting specifically developing countries. For example, under the Access to Space for All initiative. In the area of disaster risk reduction, dedicated program UN SPIDER helps countries use space data and technologies such as satellite imagery to prevent and manage disasters. They also help countries understand the fundamentals of international space law and increase their capacity to draft or revise national space law and policy in line with international normative frameworks on space. This is particularly important as more and more actors enter the space arena. We support transparency in space activities through measures such as registry of objects launched in outer space, which they maintain and which links each object to responsible country. They work not only to promote sustainable development through space, but also to ensure sustainability of outer space activities, fostering international solutions to problems such as rapid increase in space debris to preserve space for future generations. They also work with space agencies and space leaders around the world to devise solutions to challenges that require an international response, such as threat of a near-Earth object impact and need to accelerate compatibility of GNSS systems. Since 1962, the United Nations has maintained a register of objects launched into the outer space. Originally established as a mechanism to aid the United Nations Committee on Peaceful Uses of Outer Space in its discussions on the political, legal, and technical issues concerning outer space, the evolution of international space law resulted in space object registration becoming a means of identifying which states bear international responsibility and liability for space objects. Following multi-year discussion among the states, the Convention on the Registration of Objects launched into the space entered into the force in 1976. States and international intergovernmental organizations that agree to abide by the Convention are required to establish their own national registries and provide information on their space objects to the Secretary General for the inclusion in the United Nations Register. Responsibility for maintenance of the register was delegated by the Secretary General to the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. As required under the treaty, UNOSA publicly designates the information provided as United Nations documents, which are available through its website and through the United Nations official document system. To date, approximately 86% of all satellites, probes, landers, crewed spacecraft, and space station flight elements launched into Earth orbit or beyond have been registered with the Secretary General. So as on 26th June 2023, a recent data, just 3 days back, the registration submissions being processed from Belgium, Russian Federation, Denmark, Turkey, South Africa, China, United Kingdom, Russian Federation, India, Australia, United Arab Emirates, USA, Indonesia, France, USA, United Kingdom, Brazil, Republic of Korea, South Africa, Spain, Venezuela, USA, New Zealand. So these are the registration submission being processed, and the most recent submissions or notifications was published from Finland, USA, Uganda, United Kingdom, Denmark, United Arab Emirates, Russian Federation, Canada, Sweden, Republic or Moldova, India, Iran, Islamic Republic of Malaysia, Republic of Korea, Mauritius, Chile, and many other countries. So every country sends the list of the registry of all the objects that are sent to space, whether it may be satellite or a probe or any object that is sent into the space. And one more major problem is pollution and space debris. We human beings not only polluted the planet Earth, but also polluted and created a lot of debris in the space. And the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space has paid particular attention to the issue of preventing and minimizing the creation of space debris. Every year, states and organizations exchange information on their space debris research at the committee's scientific and technical subcommittee. One important result of those discussions have been a set of space debris mitigation guidelines, which were endorsed by the General Assembly in 2007. In addition to the scientific research, the national and international legal aspects of space debris mitigation measures are being discussed by the legal subcommittee. To aid their discussions, a compendium of space debris mitigation standards have been compiled by UNOSA, and at the request of states, it made publicly available through UNOSA website. In addition, To prevent ongoing scientific and legal discussions, the recovery and return of space debris is a central part of the 1968 Rescue Agreement. The treaty requires that state parties return any foreign space objects discovered in their territory to their owners, and they notify the Secretary General of any such discovered objects. UNUSA maintains a list of such recovery notifications on the website. Near Earth objects or NEOs represent potentially catastrophic threats to our planet. A near Earth object is an asteroid or a comet which passes close to the Earth's orbit. In technical terms, the NEO is considered to have a trajectory which brings it within 1.3 astronomical units of the Sun, and hence 0.3 astronomical units, or approximately 45 million kilometers of the Earth's orbit. NEOs generally result from objects that have experienced gravitational perturbations from nearby planets, moving them into the orbits that allow them to come close to the Earth. United Nations Platform for Space-Based Information for Disaster Management and Emergency Response, UN SPIDER, in short known as, was established in 2006 under the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. UN SPIDER develops solutions to address the limited access developing countries have to specialized technologies that can be essential in the management of disasters and reducing of disaster risks. Remote sensing for Earth observation, satellite-based telecommunication, and global navigation satellite systems contribute to more effective disaster risk management and emergency response. It is UN SPIDER's mandate to enable developing countries to use all types of space-based information in all phases of disaster management cycle, including prevention, preparedness, early warning, response, and reconstruction. UN SPIDER aims at improving actions to reduce disaster risk or support disaster risk response team operations through knowledge sharing and the strengthening of institutions in the use of space technologies. UN SPIDER also facilitates cooperation between satellite data and information providers and the different groups of users of such data, such as policymakers, disaster risk managers, or emergency responders. The objective is a better flow of information on disaster risks or disaster impacts between all stakeholders and affected population.
thousands of people are killed and huge damage is done to property every year by natural disasters such as storms, floods, volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Many of these deaths and losses could be prevented if better information was available about when and where these disasters may happen. Information obtained from space-derived geospatial data provides essential input for decision-making in areas such as disaster management and emergency response.
The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs assists member states in their disaster risk reduction efforts. Through our UN SPIDER program, we ensure that the disaster community gets access to and develop the capacity to use space-based information for all phases of the disaster management cycle, including prevention, mitigation, and emergency response.
High-resolution imagery now provides an indispensable means to assess damage caused by disasters. Through its use, relief agencies can then allocate desperately needed resources more efficiently, avoiding duplicating efforts in the same areas and identifying gaps. Information obtained from space-derived geospatial data is providing essential input for decision-making to benefit society in areas such as agriculture, deforestation assessment, drought relief and land management, but also for disaster management and emergency response. UN-USA is mandated to support member states through implementing the UN SPIDER program, which is the United Nations platform for space-based information for disaster management and emergency response. UN-USA is located in Vienna, but has offices in Bonn, Germany, and Beijing, China. The program helps member states to improve their own disaster management programs by providing training, technical expertise, and organizational advice.
The UN SPIDER program is all about helping countries access and use space-based information for disaster risk management and emergency response. So we have to work with the national governments in identifying the current status of the use of the technology in the country and come up with recommendations and a plan of action to further increase the use. We do that through a techno advisory mission. Basically, for 1 week, we bring together a group of experts, experts from the academia, experts from other institutions, space agencies, experts from within the United Nations. And for 1 week, we meet with institutions, relevant institutions within the country. We even have a national workshop where we bring everyone together. And after 1 week, this team of experts, together with the experts within the country, prepare a report which then will be the basis of our work with that country in the future. Furthermore, we also do have a knowledge portal where we bring all our information together. So countries also have the possibility of accessing all relevant information through our knowledge portal.
UN-USA, through the UN SPIDER program, so far completed 19 technical advisory missions, and a few more are in the pipeline for 2012 and 2013. Tonga is the latest TAM.
Recently, we just went to the Kingdom of Tonga at the invitation of the National Emergency Management Authority. And for 1 week, we met with all the relevant institutions. And we identified key areas which we are now going to work on. One of them being capacity building, another one being in terms of the sharing of geospatial information within the country, and also working with the country to ensure they're able to access space-based information during an emergency. I mean, during an emergency, there are a number of mechanisms where we can access satellite imagery to support the emergency, and working on a country-by-country basis, we can ensure that they are able to access and use information to basically save lives during an emergency.
By connecting the disaster management and space communities and facilitating capacity building and institutional strengthening, UN-USA aims to provide, through its UN SPIDER program, universal access to all types of space-based information and services relevant to disaster management.
International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN, was established in 2013, is a result of UN-endorsed recommendations for an international response to a potential neo-impact threat to create an international group of organizations involved in detecting, tracking, and characterizing NEOs. The IAWN is tasked with developing a strategy using well-defined communication plans and protocols to assist governments in the analysis of asteroid impact consequences and in the planning of mitigation responses. Currently, IAWN includes members from Europe, Asia, South, and North America. Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, in short known as SMPAG, contains an overview of the group and information on previous and upcoming meetings, which organizes regular meetings. The establishment of SMPAG was recommended by the Working Group on Near-Earth Objects of the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space during the 50th session held in February 2013. It was formally endorsed by the committee at its 56th session in June 2013 and by the 68th session of the General Assembly in December 2013. The primary purpose of the SMPAG is to prepare for an international response to a threat by a near-Earth object through the exchange of information, development of options for collaborative research and mission opportunities, and to conduct neo-threat mitigation planning activities from the terms of reference. Association of Space Explorers, founded in 1985 by a small group of US, Russian, and international flyers. The Association of Space Explorers, ASE in short, is an international, non-profit 501c3 professional and educational organization of over 400 flown astronauts and cosmonauts from 38 nations. ASE activities are conducted under the auspices of the 4 regional chapters: USA, Russia, Europe, and Asia. Oversight is provided by the International Executive Committee and the Regional Board of Directors. A key component of ASE mission is to enable and grow a technically knowledgeable and proficient future workforce, which is part of a national education imperative to ensure our nation's future economic and scientific prosperity. As part of ASC's general outreach efforts, our astronaut and cosmonaut members visit schools, universities, and youth groups worldwide and interact with thousands of teachers, parents, and students. Each year, ASC continuously explores creative ways to engage and inspire the next generation of scientists, astronauts, and engineers. ASC maintains a commitment to fostering international cooperation in space exploration. Since space exploration is a technology-intensive and financially expensive activity, ASC members understand that when many countries jointly invest their resources and ingenuity in common undertaking, all stand to benefit. Chief among ASC's activities in this area are professional exchanges and facilities, visits among astronauts of different national space programs, sponsorship of international dialogue on space rescue, and operational compatibility. and a series of high-level invitational discussions, which have resulted in a new opportunities for space cooperation in changing global political environment. ASC considers it's important to provide its members with opportunities to communicate their unique perspective of Earth to help stimulate humanity's sense of responsibility for the future of the planet. Among ASC's premier activities in the area of environmental education, having been the publication of the international bestseller, The Home Planet in the Hard and Soft Cover, partnership in the development and deployment of an orbit astronaut Earth photography tool, Windows on Earth, participation in the United Nations Earth Day, and mission to planet Earth ceremonies and sponsorship of environment films and videos. As the only professional association for astronauts, ASC supports the advancement of space exploration, providing opportunities for communication among space professionals at the international level. The association has worked closely with other international The most recent discovery of near-Earth asteroids was on 27 June 2023. So cumulative members discovered since 1980. It was 44 objects. And in 1990, 86 objects. In 2000, 1,082 objects. In 2010, 744 objects. 2020, January 4, 841 objects. And finally, April 18th, in September 1992, Chinese government made a decision to implement the manned space program and prescribed the three-step strategy of development. The first step is to launch a manned spaceship, set up primarily integrated experimental manned spacecraft engineering, and carry out space application experiments. The second step is to make technology breakthroughs. The second step is to make technology breakthroughs in extravehicular activities, as well as the space rendezvous and docking of manned spaceships and spacecrafts, launch a space lab, and provide a solution for the space application of a certain scale with mending to its The third step is to establish a space station and provide a solution for a space application and a larger scale with man tending on a long-term basis. So let's everyone maintain clean and healthy planet. Today, we are also commemorating International Day of Parliamentarism on 30th June. With the theme Parliaments for the Planet. Climate action begins at home. Parliaments and those who work in them can create a concrete step to reduce their carbon footprint, both as institutions and individuals, by adopting greener policies and embracing a culture of sustainability. Parliaments and parliamentarians can help address the climate crisis and pave way for stronger climate action. Climate change is killing people and destroying lives, development, peace, and security all over the world. The IPU helps parliamentarians make progress on the Paris Agreement as well as other climate treaties, accelerate decarbonization, and reduce the carbon footprint within parliaments themselves through its research, tools, and meetings. As a first step, they can decarbonize their place of work by putting the IPU's 10 actions for greener parliaments and those who work in them.
Mon Parlement,
My planet.
My Parliament,
My planet.
notre devenir.
So the International Day of Parliamentarism is celebrated every year on 30th June, the date in 1889 on which the IPU was founded. The day was established in 2018 through a United Nations General Assembly resolution. Instituting an International Day for Parliaments is particularly important at this critical time for parliamentary democracy, when people are losing trust in political institutions and democracy itself is facing challenges from populist and nationalist movements. If democracy is to thrive, then parliaments, as a cornerstone of functioning democracies, need to be strong, transparent, accountable, and representative. The International Day of Parliamentarism is a time to review the progress that parliaments have made in achieving some key goals to be more representative and move with times, including carry out self-assessments, working to include more women and young MPs, and adopting to new technologies. The United Nations General Assembly, in its resolution 72/278, recognized the role of parliaments in national plans and strategies and ensuring greater transparency and accountability at national and global levels. So the third Global Parliamentary Report is focused on public participation in the work of Parliament. The data, conclusions, and recommendations contained in the report, Global Parliamentary Report 2022, Public Engagement in the Work of Parliament, outline a way forward to strengthen this link between the public on one hand and the parliaments and parliamentarians on the other, actively working in community to build participatory, inclusive, and responsive parliaments.
I'm from the Parliament of India.
Je représente le Parlement français.
I am from Ireland.
From Zimbabwe,
Diputada de México.
Du Canada.
du Parlement gabonais. I am a member of the New Zealand Parliament.
Iran,
in der Schweiz.
In Egypt,
Je suis député du Parlement mauricien.
Of the Republic of Fiji Islands.
de l'Assemblée nationale du Sénégal.
From the Kingdom of Tonga.
Parlementaire du Tchad.
Representing Finnish Parliament.
The Kingdom of Eswatini.
I am a member of Parliament of Ukraine.
Botswana. Bangladesh.
The Parliament of Uganda.
Suriname.
Je représente Madagascar.
Zambia.
Al Parlamento di Uruguay.
South Sudan.
Centrafrique.
Sono la vicepresidente della Commissione Esteri della Camera dei Deputati italiana.
We are amongst the most vulnerable when it comes to climate change.
L'impact, il est plutôt à travers le dérèglement climatique.
Serious cyclone issues. Acidification of the ocean, sea level rising.
ما این سالهای اخیر با یک موضوعی مواجه بودیم به نام گرد و غبار و ریزگرد.
La mer monte chaque année de 2 à 5 cm.
We also have huge issues around car dependency.
Ukraine's industry still produced many greenhouse gas emissions.
Con tormentas, lluvias, inundaciones o sequías.
Frost oder auch zu viel Regen, Überschwemmungen.
Le réchauffement est 2 fois plus important que les autres pays de la planète.
we are expecting heat waves, sandstorms,
Le flash flood, comme on dit dans le jargon.
Our farming season has changed.
The winters have become warmer.
La stagione sciistica in alcuni luoghi non esiste più.
5 months without rain in a poor country like South Sudan that is still emerging out of war.
Ça détruit les champs, les plantes.
The internal migration is happening rapidly.
Over thousands and thousands of people from Turkana in Kenya and also the Pokot from the Kenyan side are now in Uganda looking for livelihoods and also pasture and water for the animals. The climate change is for real.
Les parlementaires ont pu légiférer sur la question à travers des lois sur l'environnement.
It's up to have 51% carbon reduction by 2030.
Éduquer les gens, premièrement, à protéger l'environnement.
Instead of using personal vehicles, we all now just get in single buses and go to where we're going.
By using the e-office suite, we have turned everything into virtual. And by doing that, we have turned paperless. And that's one aspect.
México se comprometió en el Acuerdo de París a tener el 36% de las energías limpias para 2026.
At the global level, Fiji was a past president of COP23.
Nous avons une politique pour combattre l'érosion de nos plages.
Devenir complètement carboneutre d'ici 2050.
We also work with NGOs.
Et puis un ensemble d'éléments qui visent à la fois la partie de la gestion durable de l'eau, l'alimentation saine et durable.
We're looking at planting 1 million trees by 2023, which is this year.
Les plastiques sont interdits maintenant au Sénégal.
We have been able to put half the amount of oil-heated houses.
You have protected areas and national parks.
When you do a major project, it has to be environmental friendly.
Parliaments play a key role, as parliaments is where the discussion starts. Solo con una grande pianificazione, una grande volontà si possono evitare gli effetti peggiori del cambiamento climatico e adattarci strada facendo.
We hope that other parliamentarians around the world will take the same approach.
My parliament,
My planet,
our future.
Mon parlement,
Ma planète,
notre engagement.
notre combat.
Mi parlamento, mi planeta.
Nuestros hijos.
My parliament, my planet,
our planet.
our family.
My parliament,
My planet,
our beautiful blue ocean Pacific. My parliament,
Mein Planet.
Notre mieux-être.
My parliament.
ma planète,
our dream.
Notre engagement.
Our life.
Il mio parlamento.
Minun planeettani.
Notre devoir.
Our environment.
our people, our diversity.
Mon parlement.
My planet.
My
parliament,
My planet.
Notre devenir.
thirsty humans shifting Earth's tilt should be worried. The recent article covered by, media, the Earth has lost of a lot of groundwater to thirsty humans, enough to measurably tilt the planet axis of rotation because of an uneven distribution of water on the planet. This has also contributed to the rise of sea levels on the planet. And also we have seen recently the construction of Thomas Dam in China, the largest dam on the planet. By accumulating large amount of water at one place, it also slowed down the rotation of the Earth. So these are all going to create a huge disasters, which are going to be a huge impact on the planet. So apart from this, we have a few other commemorations. Today is also commemorated as National Meteor Watch Day in US. By finding out how much as you can about the phenomena and the impact it leaves on Earth. For starters, let's look at what meteors are. And have you ever seen movies where the actors are busy searching for shooting stars in the sky? Well, that's just a fancy name for the meteorite. The shooting or falling stars come from the solar system and are actually broken fragments of asteroids. These fragments can take millions of years before they hit Earth. So meteors are also known as space rocks since they fall on the Earth from space. However, when these rocks enter our atmosphere, they are quite noticeable since they leave a glowing streak in the sky. Meteors were also defined as solid objects moving in interplanetary space in 1961 by the International Astronomical Union. Meteors have existed since time immemorial. It just took scientists time to discover their existence. Meteors gained a lot of traction in the 19th century and became the study of many astronomers such as Dennis Olmsted, who have been analyzing meteor showers in order to understand their origins. In 1866, scientists like Hubert A. Newton began to make predictions regarding the next meteor shower. Studying meteors is also essential to determine the solar system's history. Another fact about the meteors that had people intrigued was that they vary in size and weight. Some are huge and weigh over 60 tons, while others are as small as pebbles that we can hold in our hands. The largest meteorite to hit our planet was found in 1920 in Namibia The space rock was 9 feet across, weighed 60 tons, and was made of out of an alloy of iron and nickel. But this isn't all. Some meteors also fall on Earth to Earth with a dramatic entry that often causes destruction and death. These meteors are also known as fireballs. Finally, the craters we see on the moon are caused by meteors. So bright meteors may be seen in broad light, but mostly they are only spotted at night. Meteor sightings are often seen as holding spiritual significance as a sign. So grab a blanket and some snacks, pick a spot under the stars and get ready for a night of stargazing. To make the activity more fun, invite a couple of your friends and celebrate this National Meteor Watch Day. So intrigued by meteors, dedicate the day to finding out more about them by heading to the library or taking to the Google. Post about your findings on your social media so that everyone knows about it. Space museums often have pieces of meteor rocks on display. What better way to celebrate National Meteor Watch Day than by looking at the actual piece of meteor up close? So the meteors that are brighter than usual are called fireballs, the brightest meteors. The Greek word for meteor means suspended in the air, has Greek origins. The extinction of dinosaurs was caused by an 8-mile-long meteor, along with other factors. According to the NASA's estimation, 48.5 tons of meteoritic material falls on Earth daily. Meteors consist of the solar system's oldest rocks. For many youngsters, this day serves as a purpose of developing interest in astronomy and study of stars and meteors. Days such as these make people curious and often become the building blocks for a career in which topic of space is studied in depth. There are so many things in our universe that we are unaware of, so dedicating special days to these wonders give everyone a chance to realize how beautiful the world is and why we must take care of it. Today, we are also commemorating National Safer Workplace Day in US, occurring on the last Friday of June, commemorating the Safer Workplace Initiative, which promotes workplace safety with a heightened focus on machine safety to reduce the potential of near misses, accidents, and injuries. Technicum, the product neutral engineering services of division of Shermersel Group, founded National Safer Workplace Day to create awareness about safer workplaces and promote safer workplace activities. Machine safeguarding constantly remains among the top 10 OSHA violations yearly. Our goal is to provide machine manufacturers and end users with the proper tools to help create a safer workplace. So let's support this event by learning more about the importance of safe workplace. Take out time to assess your workplace and pinpoint any task, process, or equipment that could jeopardize your workplace and your safety. The SAFER acronym is based on 5 fundamental steps used to conduct a risk assessment and stands for stop, assess, formulate, execute, and review. So these steps are fundamental to properly addressing any concerns such as unsafe operations of machinery so that a safe and efficient solution can be created and implemented. Stop. A stop in production often has a negative connotation. However, in this context, it is meant to prevent future production stops due to accidents and injuries. It is important to stop and discuss safety concerns to create and foster a work environment where employees feel confident enough to speak up against unsafe conditions. This also helps to avoid potential near misses and accidents. SS. Identifying an unsafe condition is the first step. The next step is to assess the safety of concerns or the safety concerns to decide which steps, if any, needed to be taken to minimize exposure to the hazard. One method to estimate the severity of the concern is by calculating a hazard rating number, HRN in short. An effective HRN calculation during the risk assessment process will allow you to quantify a problem and take a closer look at the machine or process to ensure proper regulations and requirements are being followed. Formulate. Once an assessment is completed and a concern has been reviewed by a qualified team, the next step is to formulate a plan. If actions needed to be taken, this is the time to develop safe and feasible possible solutions. Team effort may be required to create a solution that is not only safe but allows for effective and efficient human-machine interactions. Solutions can range from administrative controls to machine redesigns and implementation of safety controls. Execute. After a plan is created, it's time to execute it to see how effective it is. This may require planning across multiple departments and divisions, as a realistic schedule must be made to accommodate machine downtime and available resources to actually implement proposed safety plan. It is important to establish design reviews and milestones to help track and measure the success of process. Review. Once the solution is successfully implemented, the concern must be reviewed again. This additional evaluation is used to prove the system is out, confirm that the initial concern has been addressed effectively, and the new solution is not creating further hazards. According to the OSHA, the employer is legally responsible for providing a workplace free of recognizable hazards. At the same time, the employee is responsible for complying with the occupational safety and health standards and all rules and regulations and orders issued under this Act and applied to his actions and conduct. Personal protection equipment, PPE, is a form of safety control measure. PPE is designed to protect workers from potential hazards in the workplace, such as physical, chemical, radiological, or biological hazards. Examples of PPE include safety glasses, gloves, respirators, hard hats, and safety shoes, etc. The complete hierarchy of safety controls must be evaluated before utilizing PPE, as this is the least effective solution. The conscious standards are the industry standards developed by the group of professionals that cannot be enforced by themselves unless adopted by a regulator body. OSHA may cite such consensus standards as a basis for their findings and enforcement. Acknowledging a co-worker or employee for doing their job in a safe manner not only boosts morale and fosters a positive work environment, but also reinforces the importance of safe practices and encourages continued vigilance in maintaining a safe workplace for all. So make a safety tips list. List 3 ways in which you can perform your job safer. Share with your safety officers to see if they can be implemented and participate in the change. Get a free entry for a chance to win training by highlighting a safety initiative implemented by your company. Workplace injuries occur every 7 seconds. Many of these injuries are related to machines. Investing in machine safety measures can help reduce the incidence of injuries and ensure worker safety. According to an Alert Media Employee Safety Report, 73% workers says that feeling safe is extremely important when at work. According to the American Society of Safety Engineers, a workplace safety program can reduce injuries by 50%. According to the OSHA, about half of the serious injuries that occur at workplace are still going unreported, as per LDG law. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, offers a free tool called Injury Tracking Application on their website to produce a report comparing injury illness to the rate of business of your competitors. So often accidents and serious injuries arise from performing normal routine tasks. National Safer Workplace Day allows us to step back and remind ourselves the importance of following procedures and working with a safe mindset. After the 4 industrial revolutions, industrial automation has shown clear advancements. Through National Safer Workplace Day, we can highlight safety advancements that are usually Day is also commemorated as Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. It celebrates the strong relationship between the Republic of Philippines and the Kingdom of Spain. Despite a long history of colonization, it commemorates the 33 Spanish soldiers who defended the Spanish flag at the Siege of Baler, who remained there from 1898 to 1899. Only to find out that the Spain had already given the Philippines independence on December 10, 1898. Their endurance impressed the Revolutionary Army to the point that General Emilio Aguinaldo issued a decree requiring them to be treated as friends. The Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day was passed on 20th. Today is also commemorated as Social Media Day in US. First there was telephone, then the fax machine, and then a lot more else, and finally the social media, a revolutionary way of communicating since its creation. People have been able to connect with each other like never before. Friends and family can connect at any moment and use social media for an average of 144 minutes every single day. Because of its impact on society over years, Social Media Day was born on June 30, and it has continued to grow popularity ever since. World Social Media Day was launched by Mashable on June 30, 2010. It was born as a way to recognize social media's impact on global communication and to bring the world together to celebrate it. Everyone uses social media every day. It's how we connect with people all over the world in a simple, fast way. Mashable is known to use social media to connect various cultures, movements, and fandoms, which is why they wanted to celebrate it. People use hashtag. The first social media platform ever to be launched was 6 Degrees in 1997, founded by Andrew Wainwright. The website allowed users to list friends and family members and had features such as profiles, bulletin boards, and school affiliations. At its peak, 6 Degrees had over 1 million users, but it was eventually shut down in 2001. The first modern social media platform was Friendster in 2002. The website allowed people to safely make new friends and has over 100 million users, most of whom are in Asia. LinkedIn, the first business-focused social media platform, was launched in 2003. MySpace launched in 2004, the same year as Facebook, but initially it was much greater success than Mark Zuckerberg. And by 2006, MySpace was the largest social media platform in the world, with users loving the customized profiles that also enabled them to post their music. YouTube launched its website dedicated to video in 2005, and Twitter followed it with its limited characters platform in 2006. As both grew in popularity, so did Facebook, and the most popular social media platforms for the next 5 years were being scheduled. Social media has become a way to instant connect, often with the friends and families, but also with complete strangers. It has become a huge success of news, shopping, finding influencers for business, and general entertainment. Social Media Day is for us to enjoy the positives that these platforms have brought into our lives and maybe like or share a photo or two. Today, we are also commemorating National OOTD Day, which is, in short, outfit of the day. It showcases the fashionista inside you by sporting one of your best outfits. So the short form of the term originated on social media when bloggers and fashion icons would post their outfits on platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, etc. Since then, the term has been taken on a life on its own and has turned into a famous hashtag used to define a trendy outfit, with the OOTD being so important for men and women across the globe. It's not a surprise the day has been specifically dedicated to it. However, according to the influencers, the day is about more than simply making a fashion statement. It is about inspiring people to wear clothes that make them feel good about themselves. This is essential since the feeling good can boost your confidence and actually aid in creating a positive aura. According to Stacy, when you have a great outfit on your days, it is the most Today is also commemorated as National Food Truck Day in US. It is a special day to champion food trucks and encourage the hardworking men and women whose food business support the local economy. People celebrate the day by purchasing their local foods. So people celebrate the day by purchasing from their local food trucks, which offer a variety of tasty temptations from gourmet burgers to sushi, ice cream, assorted fries, and tacos, and a lot more. Food trucks are inspired by centuries-old food carts dating back to 17th century. Vendors traded food from small carts or movable mini kitchens, and the practice is still common today, where they are found on the street corners, in parks, catering to hungry crowds at special events. Day is also commemorated as National Corvette Day in US. Opportunity to celebrate major accomplishment in their automobile history. It's a great time to learn about how Corvette became a part of modern American history by pushing the limits of technology and making American automobile industry a symbol of industrial genius. So finally, today is also commemorated as Cream Tea Day in UK, founded by Rhoda's Clotted Cream and Tiptree. The pleasure of sipping on a cup of tea can be traced back to 1600s under the rule of King Charles II, when tea was first introduced to Britain. However, years later, the practice of snacking on pastries or sandwiches became, between lunch and dinner was created by the Duchess of Bedford. She would order tea and snacks to her room when she felt peckish during the afternoon. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration. Thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form placed in the form of polls. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. And tomorrow, on occasion of National Doctors Day and National Chartered Accountants Day, we are having an international seminar starting from 6 p.m. So you can join with the same link. The registration form has been shared on the website. You can visit the website